A common behavior and or pattern of behavior that I've noticed with the ambitious CEO has been doing everything themselves in their business. And don't get me wrong, there are seasons when it's required for you to do everything in your business and to show up in your business. But what I noticed with them is they are still operating in that way, even, and sometimes it's when you're just getting started, you don't have the financial ability and or consistent predictable income to hire and or delegate and pay reliable sources of support. However, the clients that I work with, they're surpassed that, right? They have figured it out. They have consistent income. So that's not their excuse. The excuse is it's the lack of trust. They have in their mind, no one can perform and or do things better than they can in their business. And so therefore there's no separation in the ability for them to train and or offboard and delegate tasks. So they become the bottleneck in the business, the bottleneck in their company. They even sometimes experience burnout because of this. And we see because of this pattern that they put a standstill on their sales in their company. They put a standstill on the growth and advancement. And so sometimes we have to walk back through that trauma that pushed them in a place of already thinking that they are unable to trust or people are unreliable. And most of the times you see this show up from childhood. And one thing about business is you cannot run from trauma. Business is going to force you to stop and take a standstill and address that trauma. Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I have seen consistently when it comes to the ambitious CEO is they are actually really hard workers. And so they are extremely focused when there's something that they have set into motion, especially in their business. Even if it's time to pivot in or change, they find themselves holding on to it. And I've seen that has been really linked to survival. When you have built your business based in your identity, you'll even hear sometimes the business owner will say, it's my baby, especially, women business owners. They're like, my business is my baby. And it's like, no, my business is not my baby. It should not be your baby. Why? It's because your business is a tool. It's a vehicle. And so if you are operating a business from survival mode and that's your drive, your goal is to continue to win, to make more money, to be successful, and it's rooted in your identity because you've attached the success of your business to the success of you being successful as a person, that can become damaging. And what you'll find yourself doing when you are getting ready to break to the next level, grow and expand, or even shift in your revenue, you would then find yourself self-sabotaging because that spirit of survival and that brain of survival can only take you so far. Because what is happening is you are having a dysregulated emotional response. And so I have to kind of bring these things to the forefront when I see the person so stronghold on one thing and not coming into belief that they have the ability to make decisions and or change, and that if they do that, everything is not going to fail, that they're not going to fail, and furthermore, they're not a failure. If you want to be set up for destruction, build your business based on praise and vanity metrics. One thing that I have been able to pinpoint and identify is this over giving and overextending. And so this sometimes can be seen in the ambitious CEO that is love teaching, but they are over teaching. All they do is teach. And it's like, okay, when are you going to get to the point you have the certifications, you have the degrees, you are, some of them are doctorates and doctors and all of the good things, because I work with some amazing clients. It's like, when are you get to the point to sell? When are you going to ask for the sale? Because really selling is service. But if you're so used to being stuck in the mindset of overworking, overextending, And most of the times that's connected to praise, when you may have not just been praised for being who you are, not for the things that you've done for people or how you've shown up for people, but just being who you are. Not even wearing the hat and or title of CEO, business owner, leader, whatever it may be, but just being who you are as a human being. If you are not praised for the good things that you have done and for your character, for your personality, for just showing up and being consistent, and you are only praised for productivity, outcomes, reactions, you'll find yourself sometimes overextending and overgiving and not really serving, even though that's your desire. But sometimes that mindset will keep you in that pattern, and then you'll begin to see that your money or your income or the revenue of your business is not really growing. And sometimes you're going from fame, having a lot of income maybe, but then, and I don't want to say a lot of income, I'm going to say you are at a place where you are making or hitting your income goals, but you're noticing sometimes you're self-sabotaging, and there's dips in that because you may be operating from a place of praise. You are only able to show up when you are that someone's liking your posts or sharing your posts on their stories. You're only able to show up when someone's telling you how great of a job you're doing. You want to go back and check that space, that you're not actually performing, but you're actually producing. And so as a CEO, and even as an ambitious CEO, you want to produce, not perform.